What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Okay, so I know, but I've got to. I can't help it, right? It's like a moth to a flame. Check this out. Willing to name names, Thomas Massie and MTG teaming up to go after Epstein's network. That is right, folks. Republicans are clashing, and Democrats, they think that they're enjoying it, but they don't understand what's really going on, I think. See, they believe they're over there like a kid in a corner that just snuck a piece of candy. They're like, yeah, yes. And it's fascinating to watch because we're just laughing at Democrats over there. It's so funny. It really is. Democrats, they really do truly believe that, somehow Donald Trump he's got to be involved, right? Because he's the evil orange man. Why wouldn't he be involved? They were friends. They really believe it, folks. They really do. And this is a far left, a left-wing ideologically driven news publicator. So let's get into this. This is fascinating. Just when Donald Trump thought he had successfully dodged the Jeffrey Epstein headache. See what I mean? Members of Congress, Rep. Thomas Massie and Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene, are now trying to give a platform to the victims of the late disgraced New York financier. And the victims are claiming they have a list of their own that they think might be of public interest. I can't wait to hear that. I want to hear what that list is because that's going to be a fascinating read, folks. It's going to be a very fascinating read. But apparently what Thomas Massie and Marjorie Taylor Greene are going to do is to absolve them from any legal troubles, the Epstein victims. They're going to get that list from those victims, and they're going to go on the House floor and read that list out for everybody to hear. Because, per the speech and debate clause, which should be renamed. To be honest with you, look, if any congressmen or any staffers or anything are watching this video, please address this to your boss or Mr. or Mrs. Congressperson. Look, change the speech and debate clause. Change the name of it. That's all you got to do. Change it to Super First Amendment rights. That sounds so much better, doesn't it? Because you get Super First Amendment rights. You can get out there and say anything you want to. You can yell fire in a crowded theater, which I never did like that saying, by the way, because, folks, if anybody ever tries to tell you that you can't go into a crowded theater and yell fire, they're lying to you. They don't have a comprehensive understanding of the First Amendment, clearly. They clearly don't, because you absolutely can go into a crowded theater and yell fire. The only problem comes is that if people actually believe you and somebody gets injured, then you could be facing some trouble. But really, think about that for a second. I understand what's going on with that phrasing, right? But in other words, there's certain things you can't say. But these congressmen, they definitely can on the House floor. They can get out there and make up any accusation against anybody. They can disparage anybody and everybody, and without any sort of repercussions legally. You can't sue them. You can't do anything to them for, destroying your life, essentially. They could literally tear down any business that they want to just by talking, right? Like if the allegations, if they could substantiate it somehow and get public interest behind this and people boycott Apple or something, just insert whatever company, and it destroys that company. There's nothing that company could do at all. They can do and say, they can say anything. They can't really do anything, but they can say anything that they want to on the House floor. Speech and debate clause. Hey, it's a fascinating read, too. Go read it. It shows you where their loyalties lie. They don't lie with us. That's for sure. Right? But it was put in place so there's no fear of repercussions for actually getting out there. It was supposed to be for telling the truth. Anytime somebody might be in fear of their life, if they expose something, right, you could tell a congressman and they can go and expose this without any sort of fear. They get protected, or, they got the Capitol Police or whatever, so, it's all good. That was the thought behind it when they legislated that thing. But at this point, one could be forgiven for assuming there will never be a comeuppance for whoever Epstein was trafficking minors to. The current legal precedent is that he's a sex trafficker who somehow had no clients. Yeah, that's the running joke, if you will, right? We know that's not true. But once again, I still think that the FBI, they've destroyed any evidence of anybody that might be a juicy take, you know what I mean? Like any powerful individual. I think the FBI has destroyed any evidence that they were involved. So the names that we're going to get, at least from the files themselves, if we ever get all of the files, which I don't think we're going to get anything more than what we've gotten already, right? Which, speaking of, there's a website, publicly accessible website you can go to, and it's convoluted to say the least. All right, there's like a bunch of photos, there's some videos and some stuff, but all of the FBI documents, each page is basically a GIF file. You go and click on it and you can read it. 33,200 and something pages of this. Like, you can go get AI to compile all that stuff, I guess, and then give you like a summary if you want. Yeah, break it down, organize it or whatever. But it's convoluted. We'll put it that way. It's just... Experts on the case have argued that even if there is no actual literal list, well, why would they do that? The FBI files on his case must certainly have some co-conspirators who are being protected, but so far there has been no progress on the case, and Trump has already stated that, in his opinion, people should just stop talking about it and instead focus on his pet topics of discussion, like the 2020 elections and Barack Obama's supposed treason. Supposed treason? I don't know. I don't think Donald Trump is worried about the 2020 election anymore. Like, yeah, they're investigating some stuff that had to deal with that, but that is more malfeasance by the federal government, if anything. But what do you mean supposed treason? You can call it, colloquially call it treason, but it's not really treasonous. It's scumbaggery. It's sedition. You want to call it sedition? Yeah, that's totally fair. What Barack Obama engaged in was definitely sedition. What do you mean supposed? However, this week, there was an update of note. Victims such as Marina Lacerda and Annie Farmer, who were both abused when they were underage, held a press conference. Previously, high-level members of the Trump administration, such as FBI Director Kash Patel, had stated that the reason they are not willing to expose the identity of victims is to protect them. It was unclear why they wouldn't just keep their names blacked out, but now the victims at the press conference were calling for the full file release. Yeah, they were. A full file release is unlikely to happen. The Trump administration had already conducted a very curated interview with Epstein's main co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell, who cleared him of any wrongdoing. And that seems as far as they're willing to go on the matter to appease their base. And, hey, he's kind of on point with that. Right? Look, Lawrence O'Donnell. He comes on, he does this whole 20-minute video saying that we've got an audio tape and one of their producers or somebody, or cleric or something, transcribed the audio tape and he felt it was necessary to get that information. Like, are you kidding me? An audio tape of what was said. They were laughing. He goes on and on and on, right? But it's completely unsubstantiated. All of it. There's no way to substantiate that, right? It's unverified for sure. It's unsubstantiated. And I think, personally, he just made it up. It just, let's make some stuff up. Because a lot of what he said sounds made up. It's too good to be true. It's insane, y'all. It really is. Lawrence O'Donnell is the most insane pundit on TV ever. However, Rep. Thomas Massie took to X to announce that he and Marjorie Taylor Greene are willing to lend a helping hand to the victims. According to Rep. Massie, the safest way the victims can release their list is through the House of Representatives, where they would have immunity from any potential lawsuit that may come about if powerful people just so happen to be on their list. Trump has had his fair share of disagreements with Greene, but this seems like the one that could finally break their working relationship. According to Yahoo, an unnamed White House spokesperson released a firm statement saying, helping Thomas Massie and liberal Democrats with their attention-seeking, while the DOJ is fully supporting a more comprehensive file release effort from the Oversight Committee, would be viewed as a very hostile act to the administration. Trump has already been noted to have been very close to Epstein before they fell out in the early 2000s. The extent of his involvement in Epstein's ring remains uncertain, but his administration has maintained that they fully intend to expose the people who are involved with Epstein's crimes. Greene and Massie helping the victims share their story in a way that will bring no retribution their way should be encouraged by the administration if the intention here is truly justice. Yeah, I kind of agree with that in a certain instance, but look, the Trump administration is just going to go do what the hell it wants to do. They want comprehensive. They are trying to keep somebody's name protected here. That's all there is to say about that. They're trying to protect somebody or several people. We just don't know. That's all there can be, right? Whether that's for economic reasons or for posterity reasons, right? We just don't know. Just have no idea why they are acting, because they were all gung-ho about getting rid of this, not Trump himself. A lot of people keep saying, oh, that was Donald Trump's campaign promise. No, it wasn't. He was asked about it, and he said, yeah, whatever. Like in a kind of off-the-cuff remark, like, sure, go away type of thing. Like, it wasn't a campaign promise, I'm sorry. Like, campaign promise was to release the JFK assassination files, sure. Yeah, that was a campaign promise, and he did that, and we got nothing. Because once again, folks, when you allow for an institution like the FBI to sit on files for decades, if the CIA was involved, do you think they're just going to have that evidence just lying around in a folder somewhere? I mean, do we really believe that? It's the same thing with the Epstein, right? Once again, if they're protecting something for some reason, or they're buying for time so they can get rid of some evidence that would tie some powerful individual or a friend of theirs or something like that, so they can get rid of that evidence. But I don't think there's anything there. I really don't. I think we're just following a dangling carrot, for crying out loud, and it's an imaginary carrot, to be honest with you. I really don't think there's going to be much behind this. Like, there's not going to be rich and powerful people, in other words, people we know these days. I don't think there will be, to be honest with you, but, because, I mean, think about that for a second. You've got an island, like what Epstein is accused of, or did, to be honest with you, with thousands of victims, right? Do you think that these people just go around to new people that don't know about what's going on, to recruit new people, essentially? Hey, guess what? I've got a bunch of underage girls. You want to come in? Like, that doesn't happen at all. Now, I could see if you want to go with the blackmail kind of theory there, that you know, you get on this plane and some chick gives you a massage in a private room and one thing leads to another, and then Epstein comes to you later and says, guess what, my dude? She was 15. And I've got it all on video. Would you still be friends with that dude? Like, seriously, would you still go back to that island? Like, none of it, a lot of things about this doesn't make any sense at all when you think about it logically, but there's something there. There's got to be something there that they're trying to hide. I don't know what it is. We all don't know what it is, but we're going to figure it out eventually. A lot of people are going to be very, very disappointed. very disappointed when, we get that list and Thomas Massie starts reading out names and Donald Trump is not on that list. People are going to be sad. They're going to be like, oh, he's lying. He's taking up for Trump. Blah, 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 blah. We'll never hear the end of it, y'all. They want Trump to be on there so bad. So bad. But they're not going to get what they want. We're not going to get what we want. We're never going to get justice for the victims. Blah, 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 blah. I could say that. I've said this before. And I know I kind of didn't want to cover this, but it was so juicy, I just had to cover it. So I think I've rambled on for long enough. Y'all let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comment section. Once again, folks, this is crazy. They're still just stringing us right along, aren't they? Yep, they sure are. But y'all do me a favor and smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Share this video anywhere and everywhere you can. I'm not even sure why at this point. But, what I am sure about is you need to click that join button. Sign up and become a member. That is the best way to help me out if you really want to help push this movement forward. But y'all do all that for me, and y'all remember that God is always with us and he loves each and every one of you. So y'all try to have a good day and stay legitical. Peace.